Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. First of all, you guys, if you don't know, my name is Sebastian. I welcome you guys with open arms. First of all, I actually wanted to say, you guys, really, I'm so grateful you loved the story time. I was very shy, not shy, but I was very concerned whether to do it or not, just because, I tried in the past and nobody really cared for it. So I stopped doing it, but you guys really, it seemed like you really enjoyed it. So I'm so grateful and thankful you guys loved it. So this is part 2. A lot of you guys really wanted part 2. I do have a couple snacks to join me with this. So I got this, oh girl, I got this strawberry popsicle. It's from the brand Halo Top. So if you guys are looking for like a best friend you can chill with and gossip with, tell stories, have snacks, I'm the one. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, please. So I'm gonna have this. It's Halo Top Strawberry. And then if I'm in the mood, I'll have these Smart Pop white cheddar snacks. So, all right, part 2, you guys. Okay, hang on. 1 second. Ooh, look at that. I don't know what's happening. They used to be more red. Now they're not that red. Okay. Sorry, you guys. You grab your snack. Let me know in the comments what you will be eating, please, because I'm always so curious to know what you guys are eating. So, okay. Girl, this is so good. So I'm reading some of your comments right now. And a lot of you guys really wanted this part 2. And a lot of you guys also really loved the length of the videos. So I will always try and do some videos longer, some videos, like 20 plus minutes, and maybe even some videos close to an hour, okay? So, I love that you guys are having dinner with me. I love it. It's so nice. You guys, thank you so much. So many beautiful comments. So many comments about the whatchamacallit. So she asked me for my screen name and I give it to her. And I guess. Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. I'm just reading. Okay, girl, let me concentrate, bitch. Okay. So, remember I told you guys, Christian and I, we broke up, right? We broke up. And remember that the cliffhanger, I just wanted to find that for you guys so you can refresh your memory. He arrives in his bike and told him, I think that's I had like here, also was like 2 something. And I went up and we never, discussed, feelings until about 2 years later. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Never, discussed, feelings again until about 2 years later we met again. And our story has another part to it. So I'm gonna take my ass to bed now, bitch. So if you wanna listen to the second part when we try and give this relationship an actual opportunity. So if you wanna hear that story, part 2, comment part 2 down below. If also, guys, since it was my first story time. All right, so 2 years pass, right? 2 years pass, and I'm already in the university. Like, we're already like doing our own thing. I'm older, and I've moved at this point to the capital. So I moved. I don't, I have new friends. I have new everything, like, new life, whatever. So I go to, wait, I'm so lying. I go online. Okay, now I remember. So I go online And then there's this website that it wasn't like Grinder, you know, it wasn't like Tinder or something because it was online. So it wasn't like an app on your phone. It was just like an online, sort of like Match.com sort of thing. So I go online and I notice that I have a message and it's from Alex. So, oh, this is so good, you guys. You should really get it. So it's from Alex, and I'm like, oh my God, like, what is happening, right? I'm like super, 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 like, just, I just remember being, I remember feeling a little bit, do I really want to open this? Do you know what I mean? Like, do I really, really, really want to go back to this? So, we, I opened the comment, or the DM, and he was just like, hey, I recently moved to to Copenhagen. I would love to see you, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what? I'm single. He never mentioned he wanted, to date me. He's only mentioned that he's here and I could always use another friend. So I decide, I'll take him up on his offer and we'll meet, right? We decide to meet at a cafe, which I remember that this cafe had the best, when I tell you the best nachos, bitch, okay, the best nachos. So cheesy. So sour creamy, bitch, okay, so many jalapenos. But you know damn well, bitch, I was not gonna eat that in front of him, right? So I go meet him. It's around like 6:37, almost dinner time. Meet him, and he looked so different. He looked so different. He looked so older, like just grown, And I just remember like, oh my God, he looks so good. So he hugged me. He was wearing this like really poofy jacket, and he was still wearing the same cologne that he always wore. And I remember that when we sat down, we just sort of like looked at each other. He had a beard. So we looked at each other. I'm like, oh, you have a beard now? And he's like, oh, you're starting your jokes again. I see you're still funny. Remember, you guys used to say like, oh, you're so funny. So we proceeded to talk, and we found out what he was doing. He said he lived a year and a half in Spain, and that he learned Spanish, which I speak Spanish, so it was like, he was like trying to speak Spanish to me. And we're just sort of like talking about what we've been up to. So we were literally there, I want to say for like, maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Bitch, did you just see how I deep throat this shit? I'm gonna teach a master class on that shit, bitch. Anyways, so a couple hours pass, and he's like, do you want to go grab a beer? And I was like, sure, but I promised my friend that I was gonna actually go out with her tonight because she just broke up with her boyfriend, and she's, she needs some girl time, but I could ask if you could come. And he was like, he was sort of like, I'd rather hang out with you sort of thing, but, he said yes. So, called my girlfriend. Obviously, I asked her because I didn't know if she wanted, like, a stranger. So she said, like, whatever, yes. So what we did was, he said he had to go back to his house to get dressed and ready, and I actually was going to go to her house. I was already dressed. So I went to her house, and he was going to meet us there. So I got there, and I was telling her all about it, and she was literally like listening to like heartbreak music, and I mean, honestly, I could have been a better friend. She was listening to fucking like Unbreak My Heart. She was like literally sitting there like, Gonna break my heart. And I'm like, oh my god, girl, I think he's my soulmate, bitch. Like, I was such a bad fucking friend. Anyways. So, she was like, you're so gonna make out tonight, like whatever. And then she, you know, at the end we got a little bit tipsy before he came, and she was in a better mood. Like, she was already like talking to some guys that you know, like that she liked or whatever. So we he came over, he buzzed from downstairs, and at this point I was already tipsy. And you guys know when you're tipsy, you just feel like you can do anything, right? So good. So I run downstairs and I meet him, and I just literally like not jump on him because a bitch is thick, but I just sort of like, you know, just hugged him real tight. And he's like, yeah, what happened? Like, and he's like, oh, I can see someone's been drinking. And then I said, yes, but I'm so happy to see you. And then he's like, he like kind of like separated me from him, and he looked at me and he said, Sebastian, I'm so happy to see you. You have no idea. And then we go up, we start drinking, like everything is good. Him and my friend actually really do get along quite well because they both worked on boats. So they were like talking about boats, and they were talking about like all these things. And I'm like, okay, girl, do you, right? So they worked on boats or whatever. And then we were like, should we go out like to a club? And she wanted to obviously go out. He did not want to go out. And I was like, you know, I made already plans with my girlfriend. Like, we're going to have to probably go out. And then he's like, okay, we'll go out. But at some point, I would like to talk to you. And I was like, do you think tonight is a good idea? Because, you know, I'm drunk at this point. So he was like, you know, it really doesn't matter. Like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, okay. So we go out, we're dancing, and he doesn't really dance with us. He's kind of like just not quiet, you guys, but he was very like in his thoughts. Like, he was just very like, I don't know, like he didn't even look in a bad mood. He was just like so, I don't even want to say serious, just very calm, but like thinking a lot. Thinkable. Why are you so thinkable? Is that a word? Thinkable? Thoughtful? Anyways, bitch. Girl, who am I kidding? You know damn well I'm gonna have this damn popcorn, okay? This one is good to his white cheddar. Anyways, so I always made sure I would go up to him and I was like, are you having fun? Are you having fun? I probably was so annoying. And then at some point he said, I think I'm just gonna go, but I'm gonna give you my number and you can call me. And at this point, my girlfriend is so drunk. She's like fucking singing all by myself and like my heart will go on and all these things. I'm like, it's time to take the bitch home. So I was like, do you think you can help me take her home? And he's like, yeah, I mean, sure. So while we were on our way home to her, drop her off, make sure she's safe, got her a pizza for the next morning when she woke up. And she kept like really drunkenly telling me, please don't let me stay alone tonight. Please don't let me stay alone tonight. I don't want to stay alone. Please sleep over. And usually I always slept at her place. So he overheard that, and she told him too, like, oh, you can sleep over too. Like, I don't really care. You guys can even have sex in the living room. I don't care. Like, you know, she was like so out of it. And then we both looked at her, no, that's not going to happen. And in my head, I'm like, well, if it does, bitch. Okay, let's do it. And so, he's just saying like, I'm going to take you and then I'm going to go home. So I'm like, do you think you can just stay with me a little bit? I just have to put her to bed, make sure she's okay, put some water, some Tylenol next to her, put the pizza next to her, and a bucket, and just make sure she's good. Also, I put like the pillows super up so she's not like laying down in case she has to throw up. My uncle's boyfriend died from that, you guys. He choked on his, you know. Anyways, God, rest his soul. So I do all the work. Then I go to the living room and he's like passed out, fell asleep. And I was like, okay. So I go on the other couch and I put a cover on him, and I go on the other couch, which is right in front, and I just like make my little bed, right? And I'm just laying there looking at him. He's like all passed out, and his white shirt is like stained, and the button, it's like unbuttoned so I can see his like hairy chest, and he's like with a beard. And in that moment I was like, wake the fuck up and make love to me, bitch. You know what I mean? And then I remember that like my phone, I was like turning down the volume. I don't know what I was doing, but there was a noise that happened, and he woke up. And he's like, hey, come here. And I was like, okay. So he did like this, and he like hugged me, and I was here. And he said, you know what, I've missed you a lot, and I had a great time tonight. And I said, I had a great time too. And he said, you're single, I'm single. Why don't we, give this, let's go on a date. And I said, okay, why, let's try, let's go on a date. Like, why not, right? Let's try. So we just talked and both fell asleep. And he fell asleep like this, and I literally fell asleep here. We woke up, it was maybe like super early, I just remember that. And we both wake up sort of at the same time, and then he gives me a kiss on the cheek. And then he says, your breath smells like vodka. And so we laughed a little bit. And then we like sit there and we're just looking at each other, you guys. It's the weirdest thing. I just remember looking at him so much with his beautiful eyes. And we're just looking at each other and looking. My girlfriend comes out, such a mess, poor girl. She has like pepperoni everywhere. And then she goes, do you guys want to like make breakfast and like we can spend the day together? He says he has to go home. I had to go home too, bitch. So we all go our separate ways. I'd give my number to him. So he calls me later that night. And he says, why don't you come over to my house and we'll hang out? But I didn't want to go over to his house because usually when like people are at their own house, they feel more powerful. And I have a very hard time sometimes where I feel like I'm very easily manipulated by guys. Like I always end up kind of doing what they want. Like running to them, you know what I mean? At least when I was younger. So I just remember like saying like, do you mind coming here? I have a little bit of a hangover. So he's like, sure. So he comes over. He brings food. Don't remember what he brought, but I remember he brought a lot of food. Usually, for you guys who don't know, in the gay community, there's a thing where you have your, okay, class girls. Here's a little bit of a class for you guys. Bitch, let me just finish this shit. This is why I don't lose weight. Okay. So this is Sebastian, the teacher. Welcome, class. In the gay world, you have your... Santa Claus is a giver, right? He gives presents. So basically, you have your giver in the gay community, which is also known as the top, okay? So the top is usually a giver, right? And here in the gay community, you also have your receiver, a very colorful receiver, which is called the bottom. Okay? Okay? So what happens is the top gives the gift and the receiver receives it. You get it, bitch? But usually the receiver has to do some kind of prep work. Okay? So usually you don't really eat a heavy meal. You get what I mean? You get it, you get it, you get it. So all of a sudden, I knew, nothing was gonna happen because you're not gonna bring a bunch of food and I'm gonna eat it, feel bloated, and then you expect me to receive anything, bitch. Okay? No gifts for me, bitch. When I'm bloated, no gifts for me, bitch. So I knew that it was going to be more of like a like a chill, friendly night. So we ended up talking quite a lot. He said that he actually just got out of a very serious relationship that was like a year and a half long, and it was a guy from Spain, and that he still really loved him, and that it was not his choice to break up, so it was the other guy's choice, and that he was not ready to get into a serious relationship, but that he felt it was such a coincidence that running into each other again, and after that we couldn't really make anything work, he thought it was just like just wrong not to take advantage of it. All of a sudden, you guys, I honestly, at this point, hearing that he was in a serious relationship, I mean, I'd also been like in another relationship, so I get it, but it doesn't count with me, bitch. It counts with him, right? Right? So, hearing that, I was like, okay. And I'm like, so you still have feelings for that guy, so what are we gonna do? Because I'm confused, right? And he was like, I don't have all the answers. All I know is that when I first saw you, my heart really, really, really sped up. So we ate, we watched Bridget Jones' Diary 1, and we were sitting really, really close. And then in the part where she's running at the end of the movie and she's talking, no, the song Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and she's running to get her man, he just turns around and kisses me. And it's a kiss I don't think I'll ever forget. Like, it's a kiss I'll never forget, and that it lives in my heart like a cute moment in time. You know what I mean? So, do you guys remember the first part where he grabbed my hand, put it on his chest, and his heart was beating, and I did the same? Our hearts were beating like crazy, bitch, and we did the same thing. When he kissed me, I felt him shivering. Like, I felt him shivering. I was so nervous as well, but he was literally shaking. And I just remember like hugging him, and he's way taller than me, like way bigger than me, and everything, but he felt so small, right? And he was just like, I've wanted this for a very long time. So that night, obviously, there is no boom chicka bow bow. No, bitch, there is not, because your messy best friend had a lot of, I think it was like Indian food, bitch. And listen, honey, if there's not gonna be no chicken bow bow, I'm gonna eat all the damn curry, rice, fucking anything that you put in front of me, I'll eat. Okay, bitch. So we just like, we kissed a lot, and we just cuddled a lot, and we slept together in the couch, not sex, but just cuddled. And you guys, at this point in time, I honestly felt like he could easily be the one. He could easily be the one, because it was like we almost had something, then we didn't. It was like forbidden, and now we're finally together, but also kind of forbidden in a sense that his heart still belongs to that other guy. So it was just very, very confusing time for me. We dated. We started going on dates. We started hanging out a lot together. Every time it would be better than the last. And okay, so usually when it comes to sex, I'm very I'm very much the person who makes you wait quite a long time, just because when I experience something like that, I get very attached, okay? I'm never been the one for like one night stands. Like, I can't do that. So it's a little difficult for me, and I knew that whenever we did it, it was going to be like, I was like, I'm going from the bed to the altar, bitch, okay? Which is crazy now that I think about it. But back then, I was just such a hopeless romantic. So there were times that, of course, you know, he wanted to taste my milkshake, okay, bitch. And there were times where, he didn't taste the whole milkshake, but, he had a little bit of the whipped cream, he had a little bit of the cherry, but nothing else, right? He didn't get to all the layers now, okay? Don't get it twisted. So, ew, whipped cream? Really, Sebastian? No, bitch. Listen. Um, so then, things started getting a lot very heated. Very, very heated with us, very, very heated. And it was like, it was gonna happen very, very soon. So I was like preparing myself mentally, preparing myself, all these things. And one night, it was close to his birthday, and it was like a day or two before his birthday. He didn't have a lot of friends, but he met some of his coworkers and things that he wanted to invite over to his house. So we never really said that we were like boyfriends or anything. We were literally hanging out almost every single day, making out, giving, you know, touchy feelies here and there, okay? Um, but never nothing really serious. We never really talked about anything. We were just hanging out. So he asked me to help him, pick out like the cake and pick out like decorations and do all these things. So I did, whatever. And at the party, I asked him if I could bring a girlfriend because I didn't know anybody. So I brought my girlfriend that he had met, so he felt comfortable, she felt comfortable, and I had like somebody. Whenever his coworkers arrived, because I was there first, he was so different, so incredibly different, towards me and even my friend. Like, he acted so different. Now, he wasn't feminine like I am, but he had his things. Like, when he felt like he could be himself, he had his, his moments of like being free, I guess. But with them, it was very like, and he had like, usually drank like vodka or something. And now he was having like beer. Like, look, I'm not stereotyping anybody, but he was acting very different, and I think he was trying to act very straight. Okay, he was acting very weird. He did say like, "This is my friend. Um, hopefully soon it'll be more." Like, he did say that to them, but he acted so weird the whole night. Usually, like, we had a thing, like if we were like somewhere, we would just like if I, every time we would walk by, he would just like grab my hand and just like do this, and then walk, like, continue to what he was doing. But we were always like checking, like if we were on a store, like whatever. So I did it once. I came over, and I remember I like did this, and he did like this really quickly, and I just walked away, and I'm like, oh my god, this is what happened. He So I go to my friend, and he turns back, and he looks at me, and he's like he gives me like the dirtiest look, and I'm like, what is happening? So I go, my girlfriend, I did smoke cigarettes at the time, so I went outside to the balcony with my girlfriend, and I was talking, and I was like, am I imagining things? Like, what happened here? So we finish the cigarette, we go back inside, and at this point in time, like, I'm like, let it out, like, it's gonna be okay, like, maybe you just had like a reaction, maybe they're having a conversation, like, whatever. So he proceeds to come over to us and say, Sebastian, can you come with me outside for a second? And I go outside for a second with him, and he says, Sebastian, if you can just calm down with the touching whenever I'm with my friends, like, it's inappropriate. And I was like, bitch, I didn't go and squeeze your dick, I just went to touch your fucking hand, okay? So he was just like, yeah, but I don't like this public display of affection thing, like, just, can you control yourself? Like, he kept saying like, control yourself, and I was like, You would have thought that I got on my knees and I started to give this man a BJ in front of his fucking coworkers and his boss, bitch. Okay, I went and just did like this, and maybe a couple people saw, but like, damn, you know what I mean? So I was already like so turned off, and then I thought to myself, oh girl, you know, maybe he's drunk, because I had come from such a really crazy relationship where I was always told that it was me imagining things, and it was always me fucking up. Like, I was always the one to blame, and I'm not trying to Gabby Hanna this shit that I'm always the victim, but in the previous relationship that I had, I was always told that everything I did was wrong, and that until I believed it, we couldn't move on and be okay. So I always had to believe that it was me doing the fucked up things. And I didn't want to think like that anymore, but I was like, okay, I guess whatever. But at the same time, I was like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. So I did start crying, and I went to the bathroom. I did start crying. My girlfriend came in there, and I just said, you know what? I think we should leave. He's drunk, making excuses. And she's like, stop making excuses. Don't do the same thing you did with so-and-so. I don't want to even mention his name. Don't do the same thing. Stop making excuses for them. How he responded to you was wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. And then I'm thinking, like, I can't believe that we've had like so many amazing weeks together. This is the guy that I thought is the one who got away, and he's angry that I just went and did this to him. So look how cute he is. He loves when I talk. He goes to sleep all the time. So I go in, put on my jacket. She puts on her jacket, and I was like, honey, he's not gonna let me go. Like, he's definitely not gonna let me go. So I put on my jacket, and I'm like, it was so nice to meet you guys. And then they were like, oh, where are you going? Are you gonna go buy more beer or something? I'm like, no, I'm going home. Can you believe that he turns around and he says, all right, cool, see you tomorrow, or talk to you later. And this is a guy, you guys, that when I would come back from peeing, he would literally grab me and say, I missed you. So I was like, I said, oh, okay. And my girlfriend, she looked at him, and she looked at me, and she was like, oh my God, let's go. So she, at this point, saw how freaked out I was, and she was like, Sebastian, he's just so drunk. Like, oh my God, tomorrow he's gonna beg for your forgiveness. And I was like, you know what? Because, again, my self-esteem was in the floor, I was like, you know what? You're right. You're right. I'm not gonna, whatever. So the next day, I do receive a phone call from him, and then he says, sorry it ended that way, but now you know better. Don't, I don't like public displays of affection, but we're good. No harm. And I just stood in shock, and I was like, do you realize how, like, aggressive you were last night? Like, do you realize how mad you got? You didn't even get up and give me a goodbye hug. And I'm thinking, like, am I being too clingy? Am I being too, this? But, like, someone, like I said, like, I would go pee and he would say he missed me. And I understand it's your coworkers, they're new, like, whatever, but I've never been ashamed of who I am and how I am. So for me, it was very different and very difficult to see something like that. So he says, I'm just not comfortable. Anyways, look, at this point, you guys, I'm like, okay, we're not perfect. He doesn't like public displays of affection, and he's different when it comes to his coworkers. So we do meet, but not that day, because I just needed space. We meet the next day, and it's just every time I would see him, you guys, my heart literally would go pitter patter. All you ladies pop yo my neck, my back, lick my, like, it was just like a mix of, like, I want you to get me pregnant, and I also want to fall in love, and there was just so many emotions, bitch. It was so many emotions. So I always kind of, like, felt just like this pitter patter in my heart. Things got a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. Things got a little weird in the sense that he started changing. He, one night that I think was part of my realization that this is not gonna work was when he got drunk one night and cried and called his ex from the bathroom. And I don't know if he knew I could hear. And I guess he forgot that I spoke Spanish because I understood everything that his ex was saying, plus his bad Spanish. Like, I understood everything. He was basically saying that he can't stop thinking about him, but that he has met somebody and that he could see a future with them, but he can't see a future with them, me, unless he knows for sure that they don't have a chance. And like, after so many like little things, I was just so turned off, you guys. Especially like, I could definitely see past you not liking public displays of affection. I could see past you not feeling comfortable with your sexuality with your new coworkers. I could definitely see past that because I'm not here to rush anybody feeling comfortable with themselves. You know, you do it in your own time. But the ex part, like, and I also knew that he had feelings for his ex, but I thought because of all the times we were hanging out, he, was serious about me. So he came out of the bathroom, he was crying, he asked me for advice. Like, he was so far gone. He's like, I don't know what to do, Sebastian. Like, I really like you, but I can't stop thinking about him. I just want closure. He kept saying, I want closure with him, I want closure. Like, if I have closure with him, then I can be with you. And I'm like, Sebastian, if you have any fucking dignity, you're gonna stop this with him. So I stop and I tell him, listen, I think you need to talk to him. And every word that came out of my mouth when I was having this conversation with him, which was not that same night of the drunk. This was a week after we met and we were talking how this was not working. But for me, I was very sad to let him go. But every word that came out of my mouth felt like a knife to my heart. Giving somebody that you could really potentially see, that you love, tell them that they should try and work it out with their ex. So I'm sitting there giving him advice, telling him, you know, you can try and maybe you should go surprise him. And I'm literally holding back tears because, I'm like, and he's like, but I don't want to lose you. Like, I want to give this a chance, but I just have to know that we're done over there. And I was like, well, I think you've already made your decision. And I just remember wanting to leave. Like, I remember wanting to leave so bad. And I even had to pee, and I just remember just saying, Sebastian, you'll fucking pee in the street. Like, I don't care. You pee in your pants. Get out of there. So I told him, go figure your life out. Go figure, everything out. And then, we can talk. Mateo, and then we can talk. Of course, I knew we were not going to talk. So we did hang out a bunch afterwards. Like, we hung out a bunch afterwards. Like, but it was never intimate again. We never kissed again. I don't remember ever having a conversation if he found clarity with the guy, but I do remember him just not trying to. When we were together, I could tell he completely wanted to stop hugging, cuddling, doing everything we would do. And to be honest, you guys, for some reason, I got over it so quickly. I even, like, literally maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks afterwards, I went on a date. And like, I was just like in a mindset of, you know what? Do you, boo? And we hung out a bunch. I'm telling you, we would party together, but it was literally like he sort of like turned me off completely. Except the only time that he showed any type of like interest was this one time he called me and I was getting ready to go on a date, and he called me. I told him, and he hung up the phone, called me again, and said, can you cancel because I really need you? And I said, are you okay? What's going on? And he's like, Nothing. I just don't want you going out with this guy. And I said, why? Do you know him? Like, what's the tea? At this point, we're friends. So he's like, no, you don't belong, you shouldn't be with anyone else. And I was like, I think you're really confused. You can't just tell me that I can't, 5 minutes before a date, tell me that, I belong with you when you clearly don't have any feelings for me. You have feelings for your other ex, right? Anywho, so that kind of stays. Like, nothing really happens. Nothing truly really happens ever again with him. We sort of fizzled out our friendship as well, which was very sad. We had a lot in common. He loved Britney. We really, really, really had so many things in common. But I do think he had a lot of demons in his closet, you guys. Had a lot of demons in his closet. And he was really, 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 I don't want to say troubled, but I think very confused. Very confused. Truly confused. I sometimes we say hello every now and then. I don't really consider that we dated because we never really, boom chicka boom boom. We never really made love. We never even said I love you. I think it was just like we were trying to meet at a later time in life, and we tried it. It did work in the beginning because of the nostalgia, but then we realized we're very different people. Um, so that is the end of Alex and Sebastian. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can something your lips. I got a pocket full of sunshine. I got a light that I know there's on mine. Oh. Ooh, oh. Anyways, bitch, that is the story. I hope you guys enjoyed. I have one next time that I think you guys are gonna love, but I think you guys voted for my first boyfriend, but I'm gonna leave the choice down below, so you can either choose from my first boyfriend, right, or I went on a date with my friend's dad. You choose, bitch. Okay. Um, and then I want to do a really, like, I don't know if you guys are into it. I really want to do a very scary story time. So that will be the next, but choose which one down below, my first boyfriend or I went on a date with my friend's dad. Let me know in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, for spending 42 minutes with me. I love you guys. I'm going to go now and go cuddle with my husband because I'm so grateful for him. And, I hope Alex is happy and we're good. And I'm going to go and enjoy my delicious Colombian husband. Okay? And drink some water, bitch, because truly, I have not had a lot of water today.